done like 1,500 or 2,000 website projects over time. So, but our go-to-market strategy and our marketing strategy has always been to teach and to share and to create through our content what ends up being sort of the owner's manual for websites. So 18 years of SEO and analytics, and in the last 10 years, I've been doing lots and lots of speaking and teaching and writing and podcasts and webinars and blog posts and research around the science and art of creating demand through content rather than through advertising. So a lot of there's social media for purely social sake, and that's how we all use social media personally. If you have a Facebook account, you hang out, you talk to friends on Facebook, you're using social media. Then there's social media marketing, which is a totally different world. There are people who like social media and assume that makes them skilled at social media marketing. Not so, as you can imagine. Social media marketing now, we'll break that into two things. There's social media marketing to, well, you could use it to do listening, to do reputation management, to find trending topics. You could use it to promote content, which is what most people are trying to do in my world, right? You're using it as a channel to promote content and put it out there. But where social and search really converge is in the underrated but super powerful use of social as a networking tool. So example, this is an example from earlier today. I was talking to a client. They're a cheese company. They're a giant dairy. They rank number 3 for cheese sauce recipe. Okay, let's say they would get twice the traffic to that page if they ranked higher for cheese sauce recipe. Number 1 gets a lot more traffic than numbers 2 and 3. So the page is already an awesome page. It's got everything. It's got you know, the time on page is like 5 minutes on average. It's a great page. It answers every question. It's like super detailed. It's easy to use. So they reached the point of diminishing returns on making it a better page. The other half of SEO is authority. There's no one that links to this page. If we could get a couple of websites to link to this page about cheese sauce recipes, it would rank higher. So how do you get someone to link to something? Well, when you combine influencer marketing with SEO and you use social media to find content collaborators, to find contributors, to find, you know, bloggers, then you create a program for them. So what they're going to do is, hey, we've got our cheese sauce recipe. You guys are people who write for authoritative blogs, right? I want 5 of you to make a better cheese sauce recipe. We're going to have the cheese champion, cheese challenger. Who can make a better cheese sauce recipe than our cheese sauce recipe? So now they've got these bloggers who are writing articles about cheese sauce. They're making their own cheese sauce recipes, linking back to the original, passing authority to that page, helping that page rank higher in search. So when you use social media as an aspect to do outreach and networking for influencer marketing, and one of the outcomes of clever influencer marketing is links and authority. Links and authority lead to higher ranking for some page that was already getting some performance. Now that page ranks higher, getting exponentially more traffic. You know, just you couldn't do it without social media, but also social media alone would be insufficient. Put it, you know, mix all these things together into sort of a recipe of its own, and I expect within a few weeks they'll rank even higher for cheese sauce recipe, creating a lot more traffic and brand awareness. As soon as you say collaboration, I get excited because it's where marketing is so creative and so fun. So who's in this community? What interests them? Where are they active? Where is the overlap in the Venn diagram of that community and that business, or that business and other businesses? Could they partner together on something with a local library, or you know, a restaurant working with a shop, or you know, who could make something together, share something from each other, link to each other, just mention each other. So the best in this business are very good networkers, and they're always finding other people to collaborate with and partner with and make something together. So I went to an event last night, and there were a lot of like executives there, and one of them was from the local planetarium, and the other one was, and the one next to her was the CEO of the Botanic Garden Earth and Sky. What you guys could make an incredible program. Just imagine, like, if what constellations can you see from the garden? Like it's just, I don't know. There's millions of ideas, but your goal is to mix the ingredients together in a way that drives value to everyone and costs everyone nothing.
I think that's really an important point because the students in our journalism and media communication program tend to be creative people. And I think what you're saying is because content, I mean, some people have said content is king or content drives what we do, they should be in a unique position to exercise creativity, right?
Yeah, there's so many interesting things. I gave a presentation about influencer marketing recently, and to the extent that people want me to collaborate with them, got this funny, where did I put it? This guy sent me this package, and I open it up. You guys will think this is hilarious. I still think it's funny. I always tell this story now. He sent me an axe, and in it there was like this letter that says like, let's chop wood, like get on the phone with me, like why don't we make something together? Like, dude, this is the coolest thing. Like, how fun is that? It's like the ideas for outreach, the ideas for collaboration. It's I think when you get down to the social media and influencer marketing side of things, I mean, it's there's so much room for creativity. That guy likes soccer and French onion soup, and there's a restaurant next door to our place, or these 6 people are all interested in this one in this event, or I can make an event and invite them as VIPs, and just how to engage with people. There's so many fascinating case studies. It's really fun. Paid influencer marketing, you don't have to be creative because you're just paying people, right? But if you made an event and you created a little VIP part of the event where people get special access if they come early, and you invite the social media influencers, and when they come, you give them the inside scoop, or they get to meet the chef, or whatever there's so much room for creativity in that field. I think it's one of the most fun things I'm seeing right now is influencer marketing and clever outreach.
A lot of people have talked about that Facebook went from something where you could be creative and drive organic content and really have some great results to more of a pay to play environment. And they seem to be that. Is that your take?
Yeah, organic reach for social media has dropped down to where it's almost at like a minimum. It's getting close to zero, I think. If you so it's a reminder that you don't own your Facebook fans. You build a big network on Facebook, and you got a bunch of people to engage with you, and they liked you, and you've got 500 likes. You don't own them. Facebook owns them. They're not. You built a house on rented land. So email marketing is the savior because there is no giant digital monopoly in between you and your audience. Google and Facebook are not in business to send you free traffic, and you can count on organic reach in search and organic reach in social to keep declining. Those companies make money only when you pay them. So that said, you can still get better results with organic by just doing 10 times what you used to do. You used to make images, now make videos. Social media videos are doing amazingly well. So there are ways to, if you work harder, you might be able to keep getting the same results. But I'm actually not arguing against paid, by the way. If it's paid, the paid side of digital is so easily tracked that maybe it's worth, spending. If you work really hard on a piece of content or a program of some kind or an event, yeah, maybe $20 will get you a lot of visibility in Facebook. It's certainly worth testing.
The other impression I came away from the Facebook sessions was that they seem to be trying to pivot a lot of small businesses toward Instagram stories, as opposed to even the Facebook platform, which maybe is falling back to more friends and family.
Yeah, Instagram stories is definitely where they want us to interact, but it's not a place where you're going to be able to drive traffic because there's no real link. You're not putting calls to action in these things. It's very hard to get someone off of Instagram and onto your content. So generally speaking, Instagram and Facebook are good for business to consumer brands. LinkedIn would be better for business to business brands. Twitter seems to still have broad appeal for both B2C and B2B. But these aren't places where I don't think it's a very sustainable strategy. If your goal in social media is driving traffic, you're likely to be frustrated. If your goal in social media is to network, meet influencers, interact with them, come up with collaboration ideas, or just make friends, grow your network, grow your personal brand, you might be very happy. So bad source of traffic, but great source of networking and connecting.
So the ROI piece is really more relationship building and sustaining?
Yeah, I don't think we can count on an easily measurable ROI from the best part of social, which was where the benefits are very indirect. The indirect benefits of social media are sometimes the best. So in that example from earlier today, the cheese company, they wanted to connect with people who are, bloggers who might make cheese recipes for their, cheese sauce challenge, whatever the funny thing that we talked about. I don't know how to. Social media is the only way to find those people, right? You're not easily. It's a great phone book. It's a bad promotion channel.
So you mentioned earlier briefly email, the ability to control what's happening with email, which was, of course, the first killer app with the internet. It seems to me, from our perspective, from our media perspective, that's something we forget a lot about. Do you find that with your clients that they sometimes forget to think about building an email list?
It's not sexy. But it's not going away. I don't think it's declining even. For the marketer, it's really, really important because it is your own. It's the only channel where there's no brand, no giant business between you and your audience. Yes, you have an email service provider using MailChimp or ActiveCampaign for Constant Contact, but you don't have to stay with them. You can just tomorrow you could change and move your email address to somewhere else and use someone else. We change our email service provider probably 2-3 times a year. We've tried them all. So yeah, it's the obsession, right? If everything that HubSpot does is about the gated content, the lead magnet, and that call to action, the pop-up window. Not saying you have to use a pop-up window, but email is it's a sign that things are going well. It's a test of quality for your content. If you write an article and triggers subscriptions, that was a good, even the feedback you get from the conversion rate from email. But definitely, if here I'll show you. This is my analytics at the moment. There's 15 people reading these articles. They're flowing through. Someone's on the careers page. Someone's on the home page. Everyone else is on blog posts. 10 people from search. No one from email or social. But because we tag and this is in the book, of course, but because we tag every link in every email we send, we get campaign reports. And I can set this campaign report to just show me visitors since May 1st. Every one of these is an email. So these are people who came from, I can see the performance of each newsletter or each article we sent, which is helping me measure the effectiveness of things like, subject lines and open rates, click-through rates. And then if overall all traffic channels report, this is the default channel groupings. Switch this to pie chart view. If I didn't send email, that's 8,000 visitors I wouldn't have had. Now, I have written way too many high-ranking articles over the years, so this is totally skewed, and there's a huge percentage of my visitors are coming from search. But generally speaking, you want some diversity in this. You want to see that people are coming from all different places. It's like a financial portfolio, right? You don't want to have all your eggs in one basket.
I'm seeing in this kind of marketing funnel that we're going through, visit our webinar on Thursday, or here's a white paper to download. Is that kind of journey, that customer journey, where marketing in 2018 resides?
Yeah, if there's in a classic buyer journey or conversion funnel, you'd have helpful how-to articles at the top, and then things like webinars and white papers in the middle, and then like case studies and conversion, call to action at the bottom. I think that the idea behind a webinar or white paper is usually to build trust, to keep you engaged with the brand. A webinar, you'd be interacting with them, you're hearing their voice and you're in a semi-live event kind of experience. So those are, I guess I begin to wonder what brand is doing that. It's brands that have very transactional buying cycles really don't need that kind of stuff. It's not a high consideration. Buying decisions are usually either high consideration or low consideration, right? So how long does it take me to decide, which of these mugs to buy? They're all kind of the same. I'm just going to get this one. On the other hand, there's a fancy podcast speaker microphone, lots of features. I don't know. This one looks nice. Is this a good one? I'm going to read reviews and think about it for a week or two. That's higher consideration. Technology, webinar platforms, major business websites, right? These are super high consideration things where people spend sometimes years. You might think about what marketing automation tool, email service provider, you're going to spend weeks researching. Does it integrate? What do the reports look like? Is it hard to transition? So the higher consideration, the product, B2C or B2B, then the more there's a need in that marketing funnel to have middle of funnel content, because it might be 6 or 8, 10 visits before I decide. How are you going to get me to keep coming back? It's not with the helpful how-to awareness articles. It's with deeper engagement. So those are depending on the type of buying decision, webinars and white papers are more or less common.
You talked earlier about LinkedIn. We've talked about it in this class from a personal branding side, but I also noticed that blogging on LinkedIn, sharing a video seems to generate, at least for our scale of operations, some decent results.
I love LinkedIn. It's definitely my favorite social network. That's my personal bias. It's just the one that I've invested in. LinkedIn and Twitter for me are where I'm relevant. I'm not very active personally in the use of LinkedIn as a blogging platform, but for people like in your class, like for students who aren't yet at a brand, it's an excellent option. If you've got a point of view and you got an idea and you want to take a stand on something, or you want to write 1,000 words, or you want to summarize 3 pieces of research or connect some dots somehow interesting way, that'd be a great place to do it, because it's a way to demonstrate expertise. It's going to increase awareness. It's going to help you get feedback from an audience and improve your skills. So anyone that's in transition or in between jobs, or maybe earlier in their career, or someone who wants to publish something that doesn't fit within the content strategy of their company, it's a great place for that. LinkedIn and Medium are great places for those things. Counterintuitive, LinkedIn is everyone's resume, so people tend to be very restrictive about who they connect with, and for that reason, a lot of people don't connect with anyone unless they have a relationship first, because LinkedIn is a content platform and not just a social network, not just a online resume. As a content platform, why wouldn't you want a larger network? No one's going to not agree to connect with a Twitter follower or an Instagram follower. The more the better, right? Why wouldn't you want a larger audience? It's like the newspaper doesn't decline a subscriber. Why wouldn't you want a larger audience? So I recommend being more permissive in LinkedIn than people may often be. My advice would be to connect with anybody in your industry. For us, that's marketing, anywhere in the world, or to connect with anybody in your area in any industry. And if they're both in your industry and in your area, send them a message saying, thanks for connecting. Thanks for reaching out. Glad to connect. Maybe we can meet sometime. And of course, if they're not in your industry, and if they're not, it's a chemical engineer in Pakistan, why would there's no benefit, there's weird, why are you even connecting with me? I can just ignore those. So that's, because it's a content platform, I would suggest really being more open about it. I have a disgusting network in LinkedIn. I'm embarrassed how large it is, but I'm proud of it and happy about it, and it makes my content from emotion there much more effective. They're so afraid of LinkedIn spam. LinkedIn spam, though, is not that big of a problem. You just click the block button and they go away, you know. By the way, that's a horrible, that type of so-called social selling, terrible. People who send cold emails, basically, like, I encourage all of your students, anybody who will listen, never send a cold email. It's just a really bad idea. There's so many ways to warm up a relationship. Follow them, like their stuff, send a comment, share something, say hello. Don't make your first interaction with any human in the world be a request. Imagine the guy walks into a bar. This sounds like a joke. Marketer walks into a bar, right? Nice looking, or man or woman, right? Nice looking potential, you know, person at the bar. They want to, I don't know, it is not, you get the idea, you know, buy him a drink first. Don't just ask him to go home with you. It's never going to work. Cold email, same thing. Never send a cold email. It's ridiculous. I delete them all day long. We all do, right? Don't we all just delete those? Yeah, it's silly that people try that. It's obnoxious and it's ineffective and it's bad for your personal brand.
We haven't talked yet about targeting and demographics, and I think maybe what I'd like to ask in that regard is, what about platforms like Snapchat that skew younger? How do marketers approach that in terms of a target audience?
This to me shows the power of monopolies. So I don't use Snapchat or Instagram. So I'm kind of a bad person to ask in a way. I just did a Google image search for Snapchat, Instagram stories engagement. Snapchat had decent growth up until mid last year, about a year ago. As soon as Instagram launched Instagram stories, it's like 2x Snapchat. The game is over. Like, they won. The digital monopolies will not be dethroned. Snapchat won't win. I don't think they can win. I think they're going to probably just slowly die because Instagram stories is now so much more popular. Unfortunately, I mean, you can't really, it's unfair. You know, monopolies are not healthy for an economy. But so my best understanding of Snapchat now is that it's, you know, there's like whatever 7 digital monopolies and they control the internet, and that's probably not going to change.
As we go forward with social marketing, is it fair to say that we're all going to have to embrace augmented reality, bots, chat bots, the Internet of Things, voice? What are the things that are trends that you have already embraced?
Well, here's one I have not yet embraced. I'm resisting because it seems ridiculously expensive, but I'll share my screen again. I keep jumping in and out of it. I hope you don't mind. This is a conversation I had with a sales guy at a company called Drift. Drift makes a bot, a chat bot that you install on your website. Here, I'll find it in a presentation. So what this tool does is it has, you can choose to chat with a brand, and when you're chatting with it, you're actually just answering a series of questions that puts you in this little decision tree, and the decision tree sends you to a different answer, and if you're qualified, it will let you schedule an appointment to talk to a representative. So this is what it looks like when they made this demo for me. So this guy, this sales guy, he's totally trying to sell me, contacts me and says, yeah, we can help you, you know, Drift can, it's called Drift. Here's this chatbot, and just, it's like it's like a choose your own adventure. You just answer, it's multiple choice. And while you're in it, here, I made a video. So here's the video. Maybe I can just make it a big, hopefully you can see this. So I'm going to start it. So I click to expand the chat, and it says, welcome to Orbit Media. How can we help you? Website, SEO, or strategy? So, okay, he clicks on website. See, he made this demo for me. Great, we build websites every day. Do you want a complete redesign or just want support on your existing project? Redesign. Oh, we'd be happy to help. Do you want to talk to a strategist to talk about your project? Definitely. Cool. We'd be happy to connect you with our strategist. What's your email address? They type in an email address. This is just a robot they're interacting with. It's so simple. And then it says, thanks for your email address. Choose a day, choose a time of day, click schedule. Now you're on the salesperson's calendar. How awesome is that? I don't think that there's any risk or problem or disadvantage in that, because that basically is satisfying the visitor. People don't want to fill out a contact form and then wait to see if someone calls them back. So it's an instant gratification. It's good for the brand because you strike while the iron's hot. That person wants to talk right now. I'll schedule them right now. I just don't think it's worth $500 a month. I mean, that should be like a cheapo WordPress plugin. Anyone who's a programmer on this call, if you can build a Drift alternative for less than $500 a month. The killer part of it, though, is the scheduling, the little scheduling app at the end I loved. Augmented reality, I think that'd be great if I had glasses that showed me the name of the person I was talking, like LinkedIn glasses that showed me how I know this person. I'd wear them all the time. I hate going to conferences and forgetting people's names. So artificial intelligence, robots, augmented reality are going to make our lives better in small ways at first. Probably for a very long time. They're just going to help us do what we're trying to do. I don't know when this started, but now when I'm writing emails in Gmail, it tries to finish the sentence for me, and I can just click tab to jump to finish the sentence. No disadvantage to that. That's all good news. So it's not until later when the robots take over and, kill us all. I don't know what's going to happen later on down the road, but in the short run, the next 5 to 10 years, I think that we're going to be pretty happy to have help from these tools. The risky Twilight Zone stuff is Black Mirror stuff is when we find out that a bunch of the articles we've been reading were written by robots. Is it going to replace writers, or is it going to hurt creativity, or is it going to be easy to fake? There are deep fake voice simulators that you can make anything sound like any person said anything, and it syncs their lips, and pretty soon every politician will be able to deny that they ever said anything. Oh, that wasn't me. It was a deep fake software faking my voice. So I think that there's a problem for democracy with some of these things, but for marketers, it's mostly good news, or will be for a while. Social media should be social. But here's the flip side. If you spend a lot of time promoting content in social media and sharing things, so you're mentioned in an article, or you're promoting these things, or you wrote 10 articles in the past, now you got to keep them in rotation. A lot of that stuff should just be delegated. A virtual assistant could do all of your social media promotion for you. It can't replace conversation, but you can delegate and maybe even automate some amount of social promotion. If the social media is 3 things, right? Conversation, it's creation, curation, and conversation. So the first one, social promotion of existing content, can certainly be delegated and probably could be done by a bot.